Somewhere on Interstate 80 tonight, a driver will pull into a truck stop, climb into the back of his cab, and step into a space with a queen mattress, a working shower, a microwave, and a flat-screen television bolted to the wall. He paid more for this truck than most people pay for a house. And for the next several weeks, it is not just his workplace. It is his only home. Long-haul trucking runs on a machine most people never look twice at. The Class 8 semi-truck, the kind hauling freight on every interstate in the country, comes in two basic forms. A day cab has no living space behind the seats. It is built for drivers who go home every night. A sleeper cab has a berth built into the back of the cab. Everything from a narrow bunk to a stand-up compartment the size of a small studio apartment. Sleeper cabs account for roughly 46% of all Class 8 truck production across manufacturers, a split that has held steady for close to a decade, according to industry analysts at ACT Research, even as freight volumes grow and companies compete harder for drivers. The reason sleeper cabs exist at all comes down to federal law. The Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration caps a driver at 11 hours of driving within a 14-hour working window, followed by a mandatory 10 consecutive hours off-duty. Push those hours across an 8-day stretch, and a driver can legally log more than 70 hours behind the wheel before a required 34-hour reset. Do the math on a coast-to-coast run, and there is no way to make it home each night. Over-the-road drivers typically spend 2 to 3 weeks on the road at a time, sometimes longer, before getting an extended stretch of home time. For a driver on that schedule, the sleeper berth is not a bonus feature. It is where the vast majority of the year actually happens. That reality is exactly what has turned the sleeper cab into a genuine market for luxury. Peterbilt's 389, nicknamed the icon of the highway for its long, classic hood, offers ultra-cab sleeper configurations running from 58 inches up to a full 78 inches, built with leather seating, overhead LED lighting, and enough cabinet space to organize weeks of gear. Kenworth's W900L and newer W990 carry similar high-end trims, while Freightliner's Cascadia, the best-selling nameplate in the American truck market, offers a raised roof sleeper with room for a second bunk. International's LT sits at the more affordable end of the spectrum, undercutting its competitors by $10,000 to $20,000, while still offering a 73-inch high-rise sleeper built for full-time outer living. But the trucks rolling off Peterbilt and Kenworth assembly lines are only the starting point. The real six-figure territory belongs to a small industry of custom conversion shops that gut a factory sleeper and rebuild it from scratch. The best known of them, ARI Legacy Sleepers, has been operating out of Shipshewana, Indiana, since 2001. Customers hand ARI a base truck, and ARI hands back something closer to a tiny house on a chassis. Full bathrooms with showers and toilets, residential-style kitchens with microwaves and convection ovens, flat-screen televisions with surround sound, even outdoor grilling stations built into the exterior. A basic ARI build starts around $85,000. A fully loaded, ground-up custom sleeper regularly climbs past $200,000, and some documented builds have gone well beyond that. One recent Volvo VNL conversion, complete with a full bath and residential kitchen crammed into a footprint smaller than a studio apartment, drew comparisons to a luxury motorhome rather than a work truck. None of that comfort runs on nothing. A sleeper cab needs heat, air conditioning, hot water, and enough electrical power to run a refrigerator and a television, all without the truck's diesel engine running around the clock. That is where the auxiliary power unit comes in. An APU is essentially a small secondary engine or battery system mounted on the frame rail, built to power the cab's climate control and electronics, while the main engine sits off. Diesel-fired bunk heaters do the same job for winter warmth, burning a fraction of the fuel an idling big rig would use. This technology exists because of law as much as comfort. California limits idling to 5 minutes. New York caps it at 5 minutes statewide, 3 in New York City, 1 near schools. New Jersey allows just 3 minutes outside a driver's home terminal. In nearly every state with anti-idling rules, running a certified APU is treated as an exemption, because state regulators would rather see clean, quiet auxiliary power than a diesel engine burning roughly a gallon of fuel an hour just to keep a driver from freezing. Comfort inside the cab has become its own small technology sector. Drivers layer memory foam toppers onto factory mattresses to turn a stock bunk into something closer to a real bed. Compact refrigerators and induction cooktops let a driver cook a real meal instead of relying on truck stop food every night. Satellite internet systems, the same kind of low-orbit connectivity that has spread through rural homes in recent years, now reach parked trucks in locations where cell service never worked, letting a driver video call home from a gravel lot outside a distribution center. None of it is required equipment. All of it is bought by drivers and fleets who have decided that a truck a person lives in for weeks at a time deserves the same attention to comfort as an actual house. If you're finding this breakdown of the trucking industry useful, hit subscribe. We cover the technology, regulations, and history behind American trucking every week. None of this comes free. And it is not just the sticker price. Every pound an APU or a custom sleeper adds is a pound of freight the driver cannot legally haul, since federal weight limits cap a fully loaded rig at 80,000 pounds, regardless of how the weight is distributed. A loaded conversion can trim real revenue off every run. Financing a $200,000 truck also means a monthly payment that has to be covered whether the freight market is booming or slow, and resale value varies sharply by brand. Trucks built by International, for instance, tend to depreciate faster than Peterbilt or Kenworth, which can erase much of the money an owner-operator saved at purchase. Extra length and a raised roofline also make backing into tight loading docks and crowded truck stop lots noticeably harder. A trade-off every driver in one of these rigs learns to live with. And no amount of hardwood cabinetry changes the fact that the job still means long stretches away from family, spent largely in truck stop parking lots rather than city centers or scenic overlooks. The industry these trucks were built for is also starting to change underneath them. Autonomous trucking has moved past concept stage. Aurora Innovation now runs fully driverless commercial freight with no safety driver in the cab on Texas routes between Dallas and Houston, between Fort Worth and El Paso, and most recently between Dallas and Oklahoma City, using Volvo Venal autonomous trucks built specifically for the job. Multiple other states, including Arizona and California, also permit autonomous trucks to operate on public roads under varying rules. Most of that automation is aimed at repetitive highway corridors, the kind of driving least suited to a driver's specialized skill, while the more complex first and last legs of a route, the ones requiring judgment around construction zones, oversized loads, and cargo securement, remain firmly human territory for the foreseeable future. Electrification is moving in parallel, with hybrid sleeper cabs combining battery packs and diesel engines already showing measurable fuel economy gains over diesel-only trucks. The American Trucking Associations has also pointed to a persistent shortage of qualified drivers, currently estimated at around 82,000 and projected to exceed 160,000 by 2031, which gives fleets a direct financial incentive to keep the drivers they already have. A comfortable, well-equipped sleeper cab has become one of the clearest ways a trucking company can compete for talent in that market. None of it points toward the sleeper cab disappearing. If anything, industry analysts expect the opposite. As routes requiring an actual human driver become longer and more specialized, the quality of the space that driver rests in matters more, not less. For now, the sleeper cab remains what it has always been. The only home some drivers have for most of the year, built to whatever standard of comfort the driver or the fleet writing the paycheck is willing to fund. Some of those trucks still have a bare mattress and a curtain. Others have a shower, a flat screen, and a grill mounted on the outside of the cab. Either way, when the engine shuts off for the night, that cab is the entire world until the next load ships out.